Hey guys, and welcome to episode 104. Now, I know that last week I said it was episode 104, but that's because I was so excited to get to this episode and have this conversation and share with you the surprises that we have for you. So, last week was in fact episode 103, and for those of you paying attention, the captions did in fact say 103, even though I said 104. So, welcome to episode 104. I remain Gareth. PJ.
You remain Gareth? I remain... Oh, now you've confused me. I'm Gareth. Hey, you did confuse me on my edits, and I was like, I'm sure we're on 03. So I edit the subtitles, so we just to save the day.
I was really excited about today.
Yeah. Episode 104. We've got a special guest.
We do have a special guest. We've got with us Angel Fischer. Everyone knows her as Board Game Angel. Angel, thank you for joining. How are you?
I'm good. Excited to be here.
Yeah. This is a good one. What do you say, Gareth? Where you want to begin?
So, I mean, I know Angel. I've known Angel quite a long time on Instagram. Right. But Angel, for people who don't know you, what do you do? What's your account about and your business?
So I am a freelance graphic designer, which means I work for myself from home. And I feel like back in 2018, I started selling merchandise on Zazzle.com. And everybody said, you have to be on Instagram to sell things. So I was a little reluctant to join yet another social media platform, but I did it, and I wasn't sure what I was doing, what I wanted to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And somewhere in there, I stumbled onto board game accounts, and I've been playing board games my entire life. And I just really resonated with the community, and I came up with a few board game themed designs. And like 6+ months later, I decided to go all in, and I became Board Game Angel because my name is Angel. And most of my designs now are themed around board games and things that people who play board games would like.
And so it's 2018, and then it's been board games, pretty much since then?
Yeah, since it's like August of 19 that I went all in on the board game theme.
Just before the pandemic. And
yes.
So people can find your designs on Amazon pretty much.
Yes. A couple of years after that, somebody told me about a program on Amazon that allows print on demand, which is how I do my shops. I don't want to deal with inventory or sales tax and all of that. So I use Zazzle.com and I use Amazon.com, and Amazon has their merch on demand in Europe as well as the US. And so that's been really great for me to be able to accommodate my international followers.
So I think you're on checking your website. So there's a link on your Instagram account, but
yeah,
you're
that's the easiest way to find me.
Instagram account, click the profile, and there's Amazon UK, Amazon USA, Amazon France, Amazon Germany, Amazon Italy, Amazon Spain, and Amazon Japan.
Yes, not a lot goes on Japan, only the things that Amazon auto-uploaded, because I'm responsible for the translations.
Oh,
slightly more tricky.
Yes, so I use DeepL a lot.
Yeah, DeepL is excellent. Yes. Very good for translations. PJ?
Yeah, so just recently you've been, keeping with the international theme, you've been recently doing a lot of these like nation-specific meeple design. And I think your most recent one was Greece. Is that correct?
Yes.
The one? Yeah. So how many countries have you done like a nation-specific meeple for that you can recall?
So this goes back a few years. For my holiday design, I did a globe, and I did meeples all around the globe, and I put flags inside all the meeples, and there were maybe 50 flag meeples.
Yeah.
And that took a lot of time and effort, and I thought, this is, a lot to just have for a holiday design that most people won't ever see again.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, let's turn this into something even bigger. And so I came up with, a design, and I have about 99 countries plus my little Board Game Angel logo in there. And I, prior to that, when I was just building the concept, I put out to my followers, like, what should this be called? And I do not know off the top of my head, but someone came up with Planet Meeple, and I said, that's perfect.
Perfect.
Go with that.
And, so good.
Yes. And so that I've had for several years now. And I think the last year or so, someone said, hey, I would love to have, it was Board Game Julie who said, I'd love to have an Austrian meeple design. And I said, well, hey, I can do that. I have the Austrian flag and Planet Meeple. And so it became if somebody has, an interest in their country, then I will, populate it into my shop and make it available to everybody. But because there is time involved in putting it on different products and all of that, I'm only doing countries when people say, hey, I want this.
Where there's some demand.
Yes.
Okay.
What is the most popular country? Do you know what your best sales country is?
Honestly, it's probably just a couple here and there for the people who have requested.
It's very specific, yeah.
Yeah.
What's been the most popular design over that time?
So Planet Meeple has been very popular over the years, the whole design. This year, I've had a sort of surprising resurgence of a slightly older design that's based on like civilization games. And I've had several people buying the t-shirt that's I build civilizations in a day.
Yeah.
And it was originally inspired by Seven Wonders. And when I started realizing that there might be, copyright issues, I modified it to make it more generic and apply to any civilization game.
Yeah. I need to check that out, being a big Civ fan. I'm playing a lot of Civ games this week. So that one, I need to go and have a look at that one. That's really good. Okay. And then certainly since I've known you on Instagram, you have designed logos for various accounts. Is that something that's naturally happened?
I don't know about naturally. I mean, I as a freelance graphic designer, I enjoy doing logos for companies and businesses, and so I've done that for many years. It's one of those things where I enjoy it more than I get the opportunity, oftentimes. And I did my own logo, of course. My freelance business is Halo Designs. Again, pulling off of the Angel connection. Right. And so Board Game Angel, I utilized kind of my Halo Designs logo is kind of an H with a halo over it. And so my board game theme is a meeple with a halo. And I'm trying to think, and again, I'm going to draw a blank here, but yeah, one of the first people who reached out to me, I think, let me just look it up real quick, because I know it, but I want to make sure I say it right. Yeah. Table Topping.
Yes.
Was the first Instagram person who reached out and said, hey, I'd really like to have a logo. Do you do that? And I was like, yes. And so I, worked with him, and I think he was in like Belgium. And,
yes, I think so, yeah.
The avatar he was using was this like little translucent meeple, like a photograph of it. And I kind of played off of that, and we put in the Belgian flag into it and a camera, the shutter look of it. And that's probably one of my favorite logos that I got the chance to put together. And he seems to be doing really well with that. And so it's always out there like, hey, you want a logo, but my style is very modern, simple, clean design. So it's not for everyone. And if somebody reaches out and they say, hey, I want a logo, and they're like, I want this 3D, fancy letter, I'm like, I'm not the right person for you, but there are plenty of people out there that do that. So yeah, I think the first question is just, what's your style? What are you looking for? And if I am the right person, then I get excited and enjoy helping people out.
How long is that process normally?
It just depends on how much of an idea the person has already of what they want. If they come to me with like, I have no idea what I want, then I have to ask a lot of questions and, tug and pull. And sometimes it's just people are busy. So it's a conversation here, a conversation there. So it can take a fair bit of time just to get through that whole conversation process if we're just doing it through messaging.
Right.
But once we kind of get a sense of what's going on, then, we're just talking a few hours or so here and there. And I approach it usually we start simple with, basic shapes and then build from there. But the key thing is, figuring out what you're looking for. I also did one that was really fun. Sorry.
You didn't have all your stats ready?
My mind always goes blank, whatever game we're talking about. Yeah.
Yes. So I did Running Board Gamer, Gaming Overboard.
Yes.
I helped Obsessed with Board Games do some of the finer pieces of her logo. She did the Obsessed with Board Games, the text and everything. Okay. Sent me those files, and then I did sort of the little game pieces up above. And most recently, I updated the logo for Game Foundry.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little outside my wheelhouse, a little more complex, a little more drawing than I normally do. So that was fun to see come together. But yeah, it just, a little back and forth here and there. And I will work with you until you're happy. I can usually tell if somebody's not quite there, and I will push and say, okay, what do you want to see different? What's not working for you?
So, PJ, you've got some news.
I do have some news. So why are we talking about logos? Why is Angel telling us about her process? It's because we have worked with her to redesign our logo, and we're going to introduce it on this episode. You'll see it. Yeah, you'll see it. When will you see it, Gareth?
In theory, they've already seen it.
They should have.
because it should have been on the episode. It should be here, I think, in the corner.
Or
if I've done this properly.
I don't know.
I can't remember. It's one of the corners.
But you'll see it.
That they should see it. So, Angel, how was that process for you? I guess I know it took us a while, mostly because I think I was terrible at responding to things. PJ nodded, so he's agreeing. But once we got there, it felt quite iterative in terms of trying to get the balance right.
Yeah, so it started mostly with conversation with PJ, and we were originally talking about more stylized meeples to represent you as individuals.
Mm-hmm.
And things got a little bogged down when there was some brouhaha over the use of the term meeple and the shape of the meeple, and kind of let that all kind of work itself out. And then when we came back around to kind of get back on track, I think that's when PJ said, well, can we do like a bridge with two meeples? And I was like, yeah. And he even drew a little, little illustration, kind of what he's going for. And I was like, yeah, I can see that happening and see that working. And we decided to make the shape more unique, apart from the traditional meeple. Mm-hmm. And we just kind of had to go back and forth on, where do we want the arms placed? Do the feet go behind the globe, in front of the globe?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But at the last iteration, I don't think I actually mentioned this to you, but you said you needed it in a square for certain uses.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been designing it in a circle. And I realized that when I took the circle off, the land portions weren't making as much sense to me. And so tweaked the land a little bit to make it look a little more like America and a little more blobby European.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then it was, do you want this outline? Do you like this font? What can we do different? And, making sure that you're happy with the final product.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, so earlier, just a few minutes ago, you were talking about just generally when you're interacting with clients, if they're not happy, you can kind of tell. And I think what's important is that all of our communication has been through messages via Instagram. You immediately knew that I was not happy. It was something about the font that just wasn't sitting. And you're like, so tell me. I could just see you. I could picture you in my mind's eye. Be like, so what do you want? And what are you not happy with? And you got us there. It was great.
Yep.
I think there's a part. I think, and also being British, we're very polite. So I think I was like, I'm just going to say it now. Which bits worked, which bit didn't. Oh yeah, we definitely got through. I think at one point you give us 3 different options, so we could kind of whittle it down to 1 or 2, and then we tweak that again. It was a really easy process to work through as long as I replied and gave my view. I'll take one.
For me, if somebody's not, oh, I love this, then I'm like, okay, what do we need to fix?
Right.
And I think I can put that like, what do I need to do to make you love this? And that
I think you did, yeah.
It allows you the opportunity to say, yeah, I like this, but I might like it even better with something else. And I'm a firm believer in constructive criticism.
Right.
And I am not going to be offended if somebody says this isn't working for them. Because it's a process. And sometimes I have to come up with something that doesn't work to figure out what does work.
Right. Right. How do you, as a designer, deal with that? Right? Like when you're processing through, right? Like a client's like, I want this, and then how do you process that personally?
Like I said, I'm not offended when people say they don't like something because this is for them.
Right.
And if I have a strong feeling of, no, you really should do this, I will explain why I think you should do this. Maybe it's a color choice. Like that color conveys anger. You might not want that in your logo. Or this isn't thick enough to be legible. Or that kind of stuff. I will push back as much as I want you to push back as well. A lot of times I'll just give people time and space to think through things. I've been working with a non-board game client on a logo off and on for a few months now, and we go weeks on end without communication.
Oh, I feel better.
And this is somebody who had no preconceived idea of what they wanted.
Okay.
For sure.
And so it has been very difficult to try to figure out something that they will be happy with.
Yeah.
And it's about time to reach out and say, hey, how's it going? So I am more anxious about the not hearing from somebody than them saying, this works, this doesn't.
Yeah. Is there any difference between starting from scratch on a logo or redesigning? Because I guess we had a logo, but we've completely changed it. But other people, like you said, example, then start from nothing. What do you find easier? What do you more enjoy?
It really just depends. Because with like Meeple Overboard, somebody else on Instagram sent them a rough sketch, and they said, "Hey, we really like this idea this person came up with." And I said, "Yeah, it's a brilliant idea," but then they wanted it cleaned up, and so. In some ways, that was an easy logo to come up with because they already had the visual concept, and it was just making it fit the style that they wanted. Other times, I think the bigger struggle is if somebody doesn't know what they want, and I am trying to probe to determine, what do you want? What do you think will work? What are your interests? What do you like? So that's the harder part if they have no sense of what they want.
When you're designing a logo for a client, do you start with pen and paper, or do you do everything on your computer?
I love art, and I did a lot of art in like grade school and high school, but it was always a hobby for me. And I am very precise, and so I am not a sketcher. So when I discovered graphic design, and back in the day it was a program called Freehand, and now it's Illustrator, where I'm using a mouse and I'm drawing circles, and it's like I can draw a perfect circle just with my tools and squares and all of that. I very rarely do I hand sketch something, and that's only if I just can't figure out in my head how to make it work.
Right. So the sketch that I sent you, which was a hand drawing, which was terrible because I have no artistic skill. I was like,
it got the message across.
Right. Well, thank God, because I'm like, I trusted that you were going to be able to figure it out, and you did. I don't think you saw the image before I sent it to her, Gareth.
I don't think we have to share that maybe in your Instagram post.
Yeah.
From concept to reality.
I'll have to do that.
Dig it out somewhere.
That's a good title for this episode. From concept to reality. I like it. We didn't have a title. Notice I did not give it a title in my intro.
Yeah, you didn't. Yeah, so I like you, PJ.
I did not successfully contain my excitement because I've been wanting to show this off we've had this logo completed. All this work's been done since before before episode 100 and we started on YouTube. So this was exciting. Plus I haven't seen Angel in like over a year.
Yeah.
You were the first person to meet Gareth and I in real life.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was UKGE 23, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then I met you. I met you at Gen Con 23.
Which I didn't think I'd be able to get to.
Yeah. We played the longest game of Lost Ruins of Arnak.
That we didn't completely finish.
Oh, wow. That is the longest game, not even finishing it. What happened?
Lots of interruptions.
Yes.
It was a group event, a room full of people and noise, and they were trying to teach me how to play. Yeah. And I did get to play again with somewhere in last year with Kristen, Family Board Gaming.
Oh, yeah.
Kristen Mott, yeah.
She's great because I have family in Indiana. I grew up in Indiana. I lived in the Indianapolis area for over 10 years. And so I go back there for the holidays and hoping to be able to visit with her at Christmas this year.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yep. We saw her. We saw her at we went at the Indianapolis Zoo this weekend. I was with
I saw that.
Yeah, I was visiting my in-laws and our nephew, and we were like, I can't go to Indianapolis without calling Kristen. So
exactly.
So, yeah.
I would love to go back to the UK. My husband and I actually love London. We like New York City, but if London was easier to get to, we'd go there more often.
Oh.
Any planned trips?
In general, yes. So next October, a whole year away almost, we're talking about going to the Albuquerque Balloon Festival, hot air balloons.
Yep. And
then in March of 26, we are taking a Hawaiian cruise.
Nice.
Ooh.
That will be our 20-year anniversary year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yes.
I'd love to. Yeah, that sounds like a great cruise. Amazing.
Yeah, so it's a cruise that starts in Honolulu, island hops, and ends in Honolulu.
That's cool.
Yeah, can't complain. That'll be okay.
It's
a good reason to celebrate as well. 20 years.
Yep.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah. If only there was a bridge of meeples that you could just drive there, right?
Just drive over. It'd be a long drive, though.
I'm still waiting on transporters from Star Trek. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
At least there's no battleships, is what me and PJ... Was it? We always talked about some sort of aircraft carrier that could just drive us back and we could play board games on the deck. But
exactly.
That's not in the logo.
No.
I didn't make the cut.
I did not make the cut.
I was going to ask Angel, how did you get into the board game hobby? Have you always been into board games from a young age, or is it something more recent?
Yes. From my childhood, we had there was a room under our stairs, and that was the game closet.
Okay.
And we had Sorry, and of course Monopoly, but also like Mastermind and all sorts of things. We would get these weird, crazy games at garage sales, and like there's this Bermuda Triangle game.
That's a classic. I know that game.
Yeah,
that's a childhood game of mine. Yeah,
I know that game too. Yeah.
So we played games, growing up, and I'd say in my 20s. Well, no, in college it was card games like euchre and hearts and all of that. And then in my 20s, it was the party games, Apples to Apples, Taboo, Pictionary, all those things.
Yeah.
And then when my husband and I connected, when we were still just friends, he introduced me to this game called Settlers of Catan.
That's where it all begins.
It's where it all begins. And he had probably one of the earliest copies, U.S. copies. The rules are in black and white. And he was just like, you have to play this game with my friends and I. And so that introduced me to the Euro games. And when we got married, then we started playing things like Carcassonne and Alhambra and Dominion. And then we started playing games with somebody that he worked with and his wife. And he was huge on games, and so he was always introducing us to new games, and it was Stone Age and Roth and just everything. So then when we moved away from there, we kind of struggled to find people to play games with, these kinds of games with. So we've got a few friends now that we like to play with, but yeah, and then Instagram, Joe, in 2019, I got so many new games, and suddenly I was the gamekeeper of the family. But my husband still wins most of the games we play.
And what's been the game this year? If you had to choose a game,
I'm not sure that there's just one game because we haven't been playing as much as I'd like to. But we have a couple that we like to play with, and we've been introducing them to viticulture.
Yeah,
played that this
Good choice.
Good choice.
Castles of Burgundy, that's a classic.
Good choice.
There's like some great games that I'm always like, how have we not played this for months? Like Space Base and Quacks of Quedlinburg, and most of the things we like are within an hour play time. Usually works well with 2 to 4 people. Not too heavy.
Space Base is on my list of I must get back to the table.
Yes.
I keep seeing it and going, just need to play that again. It's just...
And we've got like all the expansions. I
think there's a recent one we've received. I can't remember what it's called now. That sat on the shelf. It's still in shrink, which reminds me I must go and get that played. Because there's a lot of game and it's so quick to play. It's a lovely, lovely game.
I have never played Space Base.
Haven't you?
Yeah. Have you played Machikoro?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Machikoro is kind of first dice kind of trigger different combos of things off placing
I love the Machikoro art and I like the concept, but every time we were playing with our friends, the dice hated me and I just couldn't get ahead. And with Space Base, I feel like there's more opportunity for the non-active player to be involved and do well.
Yeah, check it out, Space Base, PJ as well.
Space.
You can start with a basic set. There's plenty of game in the basic set. So, Angel, anyone who has missed the beginning or has skipped over, how do we find you on Instagram?
Board Game Angel.
Simple as that.
Yep.
And they click on the profile and you've got your links to your different web stores.
Yes. So Zazzle.com has shirts and mugs and socks, neckties, glasses, hats, just about anything. If there's a product that you want that isn't in my shop, just DM me. If there's a design that you want on something, let me know. And then on the Amazon side, there are a handful of European countries and the US. And if you are Amazon Prime, you can generally get the items with free shipping with your Prime membership. And
And have you got Christmas themed?
Yes, I always have a holiday theme every year. I am working on this year's. I've got, the rough concepts. I've got some fine tuning to do. But I did today also put out my Meeples in Love design on some glass ornaments. And I had printed one of those up for a friend who was getting married. And when I got the actual item, I was like, oh, these are really nice looking. And so I'm going to put those out there for other people. And if there's a color combination that I don't have available yet, let me know. We'll get it up there.
And people can follow your broadcast channel because I think is where I saw those today.
Yes.
So go on Instagram and not only follow Angel, but follow the broadcast channel.
The Instagram algorithm is a brutal thing. And so I can't control who sees my things, but we can control who we see. Yeah. And broadcast channels is one way that I'm finding that, you get a notification when there's something new.
Yep. Yeah, it works really well. Really well. Okay. Well, Angel, thank you for persevering with our logo design. I hope it wasn't too painful.
No, not at all.
If anyone wants logo designs or wants anything specific, reach out via Instagram into Angel's DMs. And that's it. Thank you, everyone, for...
I guess the question is for those who listen to our podcast, you usually have the logo up. We'll have the current logo. And if you like it, reach out to Angel, right?
And don't
Yeah.
forget to like and subscribe.
Bingo.
And there'll be a poll, so please do vote
There will be a poll.
on whether you like the new logo or not. And maybe we won't ask that question. We'll ask a different question.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure that bit out. And thank you everyone for watching and or listening. See you again soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye, Angel.
Thanks.